Hello, good morning, madam. We are from Group 247, and I'm Nur Sabrin Asratichon, the leader of this group. And together with me are my team members, which was Rachel Tiong Ching, Muhammad Saiful Amir, and also Praveen Raj Nagaya. Today we are going to talk about the outcome of our project. And to begin, I'd like to explain what we mean by legal history and why it is important for understanding the legal system we have today. First of all, the history of the law outlines how legal systems have developed over time in response to social, political, and economic changes, which was shaped by significant historical events, custom, and judicial rulings. And by comprehending this development itself or is already essential. This is because it's for us to recognizing the basis of the present-day legal framework. And this is also important for those in the legal field because this understanding will provide context for contemporary legal issues and enhances their grasp of legal concepts. Besides that, besides that, we also aim to emphasize the importance of learning legal history in shaping and understanding Malaysian law by analyzing the key historical influences and demonstrating how the evolution of law impacts legal practice and social change today, as well as highlight the importance of legal history in addressing contemporary legal issues such as dual justice system and indigenous rights. And last but not least, the historical context of law is also essential for grasping the development of Malaysian legal framework. This is because examining legal history improved the enforcement of law and assist society in valuing the legal system. Future studies should concentrate on merging various legal traditions to tackle contemporary legal issues, such as human rights, land dispute, etc. And by ongoing examination of legal history will aid in keeping Malaysia's legal system aligned with international standards and fostering equality for everyone. And that's all from me. Now I'll pass it on to my teammate Saiful to talk about the next part. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sanformi and my student ID is 243FU and 246FU. I did the historical context part of the group project where today I'm going to explain my learning outcome. Through doing this part, I have four main points of for learning outcome, which is the federation structure, foreign influence, of the federation, and dual legal system. Moving to my first point, the federal structure is essentially consists of 13 states and 3 territories where it is rooted back all the way to 1400 AD. And it blends Islamic, Hindu, and local customary laws such as Adat Upate and Adat Temenggung. These two Adat are essentially two ideology, which one is very material minded and one is material minded. Not only that, um, Malaya has also evolved its legal landscape from each period of colonization, which are the Portuguese period, the Dutch period, and the British period, which was the most impactful. Moving on to my second point, which is the colonial influence that Malaysia had received. Since British had the most lasting impact, through British rule, it has introduced the common law into Malaysia's legal system. This is done particularly through the Charter of Justice in 1807, which incorporated English law to the to Malaya legal system. Essentially, through this incorporation, it limits um, usage of Islamic law only to the Muslims and only to matters regarding personal and family. And not only that, people that are not Muslims are not able to use this law. Another point is that how, in order to create a more centralized centralized government, the British had introduced state settlements, the Federated Malay States and Unfederated Malay States. The state settlement is made out of Singapore, Penang, and Malacca, where Federated Malay States is made of Selangor, um, Perak, Pahang, and Negeri Sembilan, where the last part is Unfederated Malay States is made of Kedah, Kelantan, Terengganu, and Johor, and Perlis also. Each of this group of states had their own characteristics, but mainly something that they all have in common is that they all have a British advisor or resident. But here's the catch, where for federated Malay states and Strait settlements, they are resident if they give if the residents or advisors give their advice to the leader of the state, which was the Sultan, they would have to follow their advice. However, when it comes to unfederated Malay states, if a resident gives them an advice, they have more leniency where they do not have to follow exactly what the advisor has said. So this kind of creates a interesting dynamic between the federated Malay states, unfederated Malay states, and the Strait settlements. Finishing with that point, moving to the path of Malaysia to becoming a federation country. Essentially, there is two important parts, which is the Federation of Malaya, 1948, and the Federation of Malaya Agreement, which was also in 1948. These two events marked the centralization of power and essentially set the stage for Malaysia independence, or Merdeka, where it divides the power between the federation and the states. So this also kind of creates an interesting dynamic, as there are two separation of powers, where not only that, later on, after the Malaysia's independence in 1957, the federal constitution was established to create a balanced governance framework which ensured multicultural and multi-religious harmony. And last point is the dual legal system that Malaysia have, and still is doing right now, where it combines both civil law, which was from the British influence, and the Sharia law, which is from the Muslims. This creates a unique legal pluralism, and essentially, this system promotes equity for religious minorities and Muslims alike. That's all from me. Thank you.
For legal profession, the lawyer will be able to understand the reason behind the existing law, the view of how the judges in old cases interpret the laws, which enable the lawyer to predict how the modern judge will rule in modern case. For general public, learning legal history assists them to know how the law evolved to the development of the society and how the law has helped to maintain the order and peace of the society. For future lawyers, it prepares them for the future challenge and contributes to the development of the law. A lawyer who understands history will protect the sanity of the law, and they will ensure that the new laws are built on the historical principle. Learning legal history is very important for us to understand the legal principle, concepts, and institutions. Malaysian legal system is the combination of law from different sources. It is mostly influenced by British common law, Islamic law, and also some of the indigenous customary law. For the influence of British colonial period, the introduction of English law through the Charter of Justice and the Civil Law Act significantly shaped Malaysian legal system. However, this often conflict with Islamic law. For example, in Regoods of Abdullah, it was established that under Islamic law, a Muslim can divide 1/3 of his property to non-beneficiaries. However, it was held by the judge that by virtue of First Charter in 1807, a Muslim was allowed to bequeath the whole of his property. It is therefore contrary to Islamic principles, and it also highlights the tensions between local customs and colonial laws. For the Islamic and indigenous land right, Islamic law remains vital in family and religious matters. Article 121 Clause 1A provides that the civil court have no jurisdiction in respect of any matter that come under the jurisdiction of the Sharia court. Therefore, what matter that fall within the jurisdiction of Sharia court is very important. As to the indigenous land right, in Sagong bin Tasi case, the federal court held that the plaintiff, who were the Aboriginal people, were plainly entitled to a declaration that has customary title to the ungazetted area under the common law. For the role of law in social change, we can refer to Arthur against Cahim. This case highlights the dissatisfaction with colonial disregard for customary law, leading to complaints and petitions for many years for better system for administrating justice. For the modern challenge, the dual legal system has created jurisdictional conflicts, as seen in Lina Joy case on religious freedom. Lina Joy had sought the court order to officially recognize her as a Christian. However, the federal court held that Lina Joy must get a certificate of apostasy from the Sharia court. This requirement makes a Muslim impossible to convert because Sharia court has never given such certificate. This decision creates the potential conflict with Article 11 of the Federal Constitution, which guarantees the freedom of religion. That's all from me. Thank you.
I would like to talk about the implication of customary law. Malaysia's legal framework is a unique blend of common law, Islamic law, statute law, and customary law. This blend reflects the country's diverse influences, including Islamic beliefs, colonial legal system, and regional customs. A key component customary law plays a vital role in protecting indigenous rights and integrating Sharia law, making the system inclusive and culturally rich. Two critical pieces of legislation illustrate the balance between tradition and modern law. First, the Aboriginal People Act of 1954 recognizes the Orang Asli's right to their ancestral lands and acknowledges their cultural identity. However, it limits their ownership rights, which has led to challenges in safeguarding their land. Second, the Islamic Family Law Act of 1984 codifies Sharia law for personal matters such as marriage and inheritance. This law balances Islamic principles with Malay Muslims customs, ensuring harmony between tradition and religion. Malaysia's courts have played a pivotal role upholding indigenous rights. Landmark cases like Sagong Tasi vs Selangor affirmed the Orang Asli's ownership of ancestral land, while Adong bin Kuau vs Johor emphasizes the importance of compensation for land seized. These rulings show how courts go beyond statutory limits to protect the rights of indigenous communities. Despite its importance, customary law faces significant challenges. There are often conflicts between statutory and customary laws, especially when state development projects infringe on indigenous lands. Additionally, jurisdictional overlaps between civil, Sharia, and native courts complicate matters further. Implementation gaps such as limited resources, lack of staffing in native courts, and geographical isolation create barriers to justice, especially for indigenous communities. Customary law remains vital for Malaysia. It protects indigenous rights such as access to land, resources, and cultural heritage. It also fosters social cohesion and self-defamation, allowing communities to preserve their identity while addressing modern challenges. Its adaptability ensures that traditional practices remain relevant in today's context. To strengthen the role of customary law, several steps are essential. First, legal reforms are needed to ensure inclusivity, particularly for marginalized groups. Second, stronger integration with the national legal framework can maximize the opportunities provided by customary law. Third, collaboration with indigenous leaders will help modernize traditional practices while preserving their essence. Finally, improving resources for native court will ensure better access to justice, safeguarding the rights of indigenous communities. In conclusion, Malaysia's legal system reflects its rich diversity and heritage. Customary law, despite its challenges, play an essential role in preserving indigenous rights and integrating cultural practices into the legal framework. By addressing existing gaps and strengthening this unique legal system, Malaysia can continue to thrive as a nation that values both tradition and progress.